What is up, everybody? It's the end of week 29. It's Sunday night as I sit here. We just had a couple of athletes cross the finish line at Lake Placid, which is amazing. One of them still out there, first timer, and he is just trucking along, doing amazing. It really is a great weekend of racing, sprint, Olympic, Ironman distance. People are getting after it. It's just amazing. I've had some time to catch up with everybody this weekend and kind of just go over some things and catch everybody up here. I just made a list of some things I wanted to hit and some conversations I've had. I've been seeing a lot of the athletes lately. We've been running into each other, whether you're stopping by or we've been having conversations or we've had reached out for phone calls, things like that, with more of that to come, just because we are pushing into, the meat and potatoes of a lot of plans, or some people have just, peaking at some of their A races even this weekend. So it's pretty awesome. But I make some notes as the week goes by, questions, conversations, talking points, things like that. And that's kind of where these videos generate from. I hope everybody's enjoying the Discord app, the rearranging of it. It's a work in progress, always just trying to make it better, make it more efficient, and, just getting all the information I can out there, and also keep that community bond that is just really strong between all of you. You're just such a motivated and awesome group of athletes, and it really is amazing. And it doesn't matter what level you're on. The consistency and dedication and motivation that you all have is top notch, and that's awesome. So for a couple topics, for people that are just getting into it, overwhelming, definitely. The sport, whether you're coming from a swimming, biking, or running background, once you start adding multi-sport endeavors in there, because it doesn't just stop there with triathlon. Literally, strength training, nutrition, fueling, recovery, those are all disciplines to me that you need to learn and immerse yourself in. But there is this couple philosophies that I do like to kind of be guided by, and has helped my journey along the way, and it's still helping my journey, is again, 80-20 for training, but also if you put really a hard 20% of your efforts into things, you'll accomplish like 80% of what you want to get to. And the whole thing is, well, I want to be 100%, but the amount of effort it takes to get from that 80% to the 100% really takes another 80%. It's like, so you can focus on some of the smaller, more important aspects of things and yield very large results. Focusing on that first 20% of things we need to do in this endeavor of multisport, you're going to gain 80% of the results. And it's not until you're really consistent and into it and really getting everything out of that 80%, then you want to dip in to some of the extra, because it does take a lot of time and energy to really hone in all these tiny little individual things that we can individualize to get you to your fullest potential. But there's so much potential to unlock by just getting above the water, so to speak, and getting towards that 80% of your threshold. And it comes to the next thing I heard recently is, there's so much out there, and it's a business. So you're going to be on Instagram, you're going to be on socials, you're going to be on all these different websites of all these different places, and they're offering this or this training philosophy, do this, take this. It's money. That's what it is, and that's the type of reality of the world we live in. So really what it comes down to that is, the quote I heard recently was, there's few concepts that will get you there, but there's many methods. And what that means is, at the grassroots of things, what do we need to do? We need to train with specificity. We need to get the right volume, the right intensity. We need to eat the right food, fuel the right way, structure all that. You're going to get awesome results. Now, those are the concepts. Those are the things that work. Those are the things that we know work. Those are the things for decades in this sport that we know will get you to a great potential. And then there's just many methods to do that. There's dozens of ways to try and structure that training. There's dozens of different types of products to take. There's dozens of different places to get your fuel from. And all of that is just options. So again, don't be so overwhelmed, especially if you're in your first year or first couple years in all of this. Just remember the basics. Remember the concepts of what we need to do here is the things I just listed. And again, there's many ways to do it. I hone in on certain things that helped me. As being a coach, I've been through a lot of some of the different things out there. I've gone through the muddy waters myself, and I like to, whatever floats to the top, that really I think is the most efficient way to spend your time and money in this sport, is why I'm here as a coach to try and help you get to that those goals and that potential of yours. A couple things, racing, right? A lot of races going on. We had the big weekend. A lot of people did Jamesport. We had a lot of people race this weekend. So what happens after a race that's on your schedule? I always try and that's one thing too on the schedule. I'm going to post up the race schedule. I just went through everybody's calendar and the race schedule again, making sure I have listed all of your races because that's something you have to keep track on as well in your training peaks is make sure your races are listed in the calendar. Because, if you reach out to me and say, hey, I think about doing this race, but then you never really told me and then it's a week away, I might have wanted to restructure your training and things like that. So what happens? You do your race. We talk about it. Racing is done. I go into Training Peaks afterwards. I add all of your different swim, bike, run into that event. I'll click the event. I'll actually add, if you go back, you'll see the results from that event. I'll put in there. I'll write how you did in your age group overall. I'll put your actual official times in the event tab. It takes a little bit of time, but I like that that's something that lives with you then, whether or not we work together in the future. You'll have that data from that event. You can always go look back on like, hey, I wonder how I did at that race 2 years ago. If we were working together, chances are that information is in there. And then I like pen and paper. I'll handwrite down on a sheet like this all of your races, and that'll be anything from 5K, 10K distance, 70.3 marathon, whatever it is, anything of substance that I think is going to be good to look back on. Because if you're racing a local race or a short course race, or you've done that race in the past, I like to compare and just kind of see where you're at. Maybe it'll help with some pacing guidelines, or see the trajectory of your training. Are you actually getting more efficient, a little bit quicker? Could we, if it's a lot of short course stuff, a lot of the New York Roadrunners races, 5Ks, 5 milers, local summer run series stuff, people that do those events year after year, they're really great benchmark things that we can look back on and just see, especially if you were going through any type of adversity or injury or things like that. We want to see how we're progressing to maybe get back to where we were. So it does take me a little bit of time, especially on a big weekend when we have a lot of people racing, to kind of go in there and update everything. But I love data. I just love tracking it all. That's how we can progress things and see if you are actually, reaching your full potential, or, if you've reached your full potential. There's different benchmarks, of whether you want to compare races to a different time frame. You've been in this sport for a really long time. Maybe comparing races to 10 years ago is not the way to go. Maybe we want a fresh start and going into a new age group and just have new goals and new things to shoot for and new times. So again, it lives there. It lives on Training Peaks. That's yours. If we take a break from working together, I scan your file. It goes into the archive. If you come back to me in a year or so, I can always pull that sheet back out. We'll continue it and go from there. A couple other things here. Just don't compare yourself to others. It happened, I was at a race recently and I was looking at the results on my phone and I was just pulling up my splits on Training Peaks, and somebody comes over and goes, oh, is that what your fitness level is on Training Peaks? Completely irrelevant from athlete to athlete. So if someone ever asks you, hey, what's your CTL or your TSS scores on Training Peaks or anything, it's totally, I have people that just don't have consistent data because of the devices that they're using, and those numbers are just all over the map. And if you don't set your zones right, if they're not using a coach who's doing that right, or they're not sure how to do it, or if you have an error on your device, if you know what TSS is, it kind of gives you the stress score for that workout. I had somebody get a 4,000 TSS score 2 weeks ago because their elevation profile just went wonky on their watch. So if you didn't catch that, that would have logged for the next 40-something days in Training Peaks that you had this massive workout and throw all of your numbers off. So don't compare numbers, don't compare anything, don't compare heart rate even on what your runs are. Good to talk about it, just to see, but heart rates are so individualized on zones and the athlete themselves. Same as power. Power is a weight versus power ratio. So two people go at 150 watts on the bike. If one person's 120 pounds and the other's 180 pounds, completely different results and completely different speeds. The person who's lighter putting down the same amount of power is going to smoke that person because they have a better power to weight ratio. So don't worry about what they're doing. Miles per hour, you see what people ride on Strava on some pass that you do. Don't worry about it. Again, this sport, you will have so much more enjoyment and so much more out of it if you just compare yourself to the you of yesterday. That really is the name of the game here, and that's how myself, even I'm still able to push just that envelope a little bit further for myself and progress race after race or season after season, is because I'm not racing for my age group. I'm not racing against this person that I see online that I think I should be faster than. If I continue to improve upon myself, I'll get to reaching my fullest potential. And that's what it's all about in the sport, is to get there healthy, and kind of master your own potential. A couple side notes on some things as well in fueling. So, did some fueling talks, reached out. It's a hot topic specifically with the women athletes, and I think I touched on this in the nutrition talk, is, we like to work out, we like to look good too. So even people that, there's men and women on this one, body image, you want to stay healthy, stay fit. You think if you're going to take too much in and around training or calories for the day, like there's no way I should be eating that much. I'm going to, get large. If you're training, day after day, 6 out of 7 days a week. Some people train 7 out of 7 days a week. You gotta fuel the body. And then now there's, I have a lot of you really diving in on tracking what it is that you're taking in. And I've gotten some good questions, feedback from it, realizing, wow, maybe I am not fueling. Are we fueling? There's different ways to take calories in and exercise. Do you want to lose weight? Exercise, calorie deficit, lose weight. You're not really going to perform at your top potential because you're going to be depleting yourself. That's stuff for off season when you want to lose some weight or lose some couple extra pounds and get towards your racing weight. But once you're in plan heading towards race day, you got to fuel the engine. You got to fuel the workouts. You got to prevent injury, and you got to spark that recovery engine inside of you. So what does that come down to? It's tough sometimes when we're getting deep into our plans to really get the amount of calories we need. I had somebody send me a great question when they were tracking their calories for the day. They have about an average baseline calories that they need. And then they added in this, I believe it was like about 3.5 hour workout for the day, swim plus bike. It was a decent amount of work for the day. And it kind of estimated the calories. And again, that's an estimation. It's not a guarantee. But you burned a lot of calories. I can guarantee you that. We can agree on that. And they said, how do I get this deficit for the day? I feel like I ate a whole lot, but my calories aren't up there where it says I need to be. Then, don't forget, if you're fueling properly before, intra-workout, and right after post-workout, you're going to get a whole lot of calories in. But if you're not, and you're skimping yourself out, you're going on a 2-hour run, 2-hour bike, you're not really bringing much, you really didn't take anything before, and now you wait an hour to eat afterwards, you have this huge gaping window of a high intensity activity where you didn't take in the calories you needed. Now, if you took in a little carb mix before, you'll get some calories there. If you hit your nutrition right on what you needed per hour on the bike and or run afterwards, you're going to get a bunch of calories in there. And then something afterwards, like that post-recovery type shake that you can have right away, that's going to be another set of calories. And you're almost going to take care of that deficit you created for the workout and the work that day, where you can get on with your normal calorie intake throughout the day and at least hit baseline for the day. And that's going to not just fuel your performance because you did that intra-fueling during the workout. It's going to help that recovery and prepare for probably another workout you got to do the next day. You probably got another long run or a long swim or something going on the next day. So you just got to keep fueling the body. And as long as it's, healthy foods, whole foods as much as you can, good amount of protein, different types of carbs, and you're just fueling and stoking the fire, that's going to really help performance. And you really don't got to worry about it too much. You don't have to get into the nitty-gritty details of every single calorie that you're eating. If you feel good, you're probably eating enough. If you're starting to bonk a little bit out there, you're not feeling good, or you're really tired after your workouts, chances are you're probably not taking in enough. So again, it's that just don't dive into it too much. Just, hit the surface of it, scratch the surface of it, and I guarantee you'll get great results of just doing the things that we know you need to do without getting too crazy into it. And then also, let's see what else we got here. And same thing, on the last topic with the fueling for this one is set down the path of something that works for you and stick to it. If you have products that you're using, gels, powders, you just have something that works and you could tolerate it, your stomach tolerates it, you don't mind the taste, stick to it. Consistency will win the day with fueling. So many times I go training with athletes and they're all, oh, what do you take? I take this. Oh, I'll try that. I should try that. And it's why? If you have something that works, stick with it and don't really veer off the path from it. If you take a certain amount of product with you when you go for an hour and a half or a 2-hour run, continue to take that product. Don't skimp on it. Don't think you don't need it one day. Just continue it should just be routine. As routine as I need to wear X, Y, and Z when I go running, or bring X, Y, and Z equipment when I go biking. The fuel should be just like that. And if you're not taking it with you, it should almost feel like you left your watch at home when you go to track a run, where you're like, oh crap, I forgot, my heart rate strap, or I forgot my watch. That's how it should feel if you didn't bring your fuel properly. It should just be one of those things that gets hammered down based on the type of exercise and duration that you're doing, and it's just consistency, and that will fuel your workouts, and you'll have great success with that. Last thing for this is I did the 80/20 endurance coaching call this week, and it was a great topic by Matt Fitzgerald. It was on pacing, and if you know me, I love talking about pacing. There was something I sent to somebody before their Ironman race this weekend. We talked about their pacing and more about that in a little bit, but there was a quote from the thing that said, "The more skillfully an athlete can pace their events, the closer they get to realizing their performance potential on race day." You can do all the training you want to a T. Show up on the start line with more fitness than you've ever had in your life, prepared, fueled, and ready to go. If you don't hit your pacing marks that we possibly talked about beforehand, and you just kind of Hail Mary it into the day and think like, I feel good, I'm going for, and you're going to start hitting paces that are way outside of your threshold pace or way outside of your threshold heart rate zone, I can guarantee you can't make the body do something it's not capable of doing. It's just not going to happen. So you got to pace yourself. All the great races so far as a coach that athletes have had, and we've had some pretty awesome races from even short distance running races to the marathon distance to now Ironman distance events, where we hammered down a pacing plan. They trusted it. They stuck to it, and they had magical results on race day. We're talking like phenomenal BQ split marathons and people that qualified for the World Championships in Ironman. It's that simple. If you show up to the start line with no plan, I can guarantee you it's going to be a very rough day. I mean, I'm going to make a talk specifically just on pacing and some of the tips and tricks. So I'm actually not even going to get into some of the things I was just going to talk about, because I'll save it, because I want you to really pay attention to it. And if it's that important, where it was an entire topic for a coach's conference call just on the topic of pacing. And even when I took the endurance mastery class through 80/20, that was an entire section was on pacing, on how once you can't reach your full potential in endurance unless you really, really learn how to pace and what pacing is and how to apply it on race day. So I hope everybody, got a little something out of this. A lot of things going on, a lot of conversations, great conversations being had with the athletes. And I just want to say, awesome job so far to the two finishers at Placid today. We have one more still out there. He's chugging along, and I can guarantee you when I talk to these two athletes, which they just crossed the finish line a half hour ago, I can't wait to talk about how they paced their day. Especially one of them that we were really targeting them to have a good run, and they set themselves up, it looked like, on the bike to have a really good run. They wound up running, as of the last time I looked on my phone, they were sixth best run in the marathon in their age group for the day. So, I'll say it again, is for triathlon, you will not have a good triathlon result unless you have a good run that day. You can swim as fast as you want. You can bike as fast as you want. If you're not getting a solid, decent run in for your ability for what you're looking to do, it's not going to be a great day. It could be a good day, but it's not going to be a great day. All the magical triathlon results are because of a decent run at the end, and that's all about pacing and all about strategy and saving and putting a little bit in the tank and fueling properly. If you didn't fuel properly, then you got a whole nother host of problems. So everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, keep getting after it. Probably hit you with another video this week because I got a lot of things going on. I'll be around. So again, stay safe, stay healthy, balance that life 1 mile at a time. I'll catch you all soon.